Islam, 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 and welcome to Sisters Standing on Law. This is your host, Anita L., along with my co-host, RVBey.
Islam, peace and love to all.
Islam. Let's see. Jeez. I feel like we haven't done a Sister Standing on Law in a while, and I know that's not true.
No, as a matter of fact, the last one we did is one of my favorite classics, because we were talking about how the so-called family services are now taking the babies from the mothers and charging them with child support and giving the fathers finances and support and partners. I guess they considered the father took the child, and we were warning the sisters that this is what happens as a result of us calling what resulted in us, signing our the sons up, fathers, mates to this system in the first place with that child support crap, because this is not our family. And that leads into, and I remember that you had told me already we were going to do something on courtships, because that's the infiltration of the family plan that they had in action for a while to get to this point, to actually social engineering, it's called, and psychological defects it causes, and false ideals of what ought be or what is, and that trickles to our relationships, of course, and they purposely did that, and it's all really called destroying the Moorish family. It's a social engineering program. Here we are.
Yeah,
which
actually brings us to today's topic.
Absolutely.
Great walk-in, so to speak. Today's topic is entitled Relationships, the Courtship. We must bring it back. Within our heritage, there is the science of the courtship, the science of protection, harmony, and spiritual growth. Today, we have been mentally conditioned to jump into situations minus the science, and we, mothers and sons, find ourselves in disharmonious situations having nothing to do with our spiritual growth. We must return to the science for not just ourselves, but the young and the yet unborn, because that's how we're going to get it right going forward. These modern Europeans, they have mentally conditioned us so that, we broke away from our culture and customs. And within that culture and custom, what would happen is our family, our elders in the family, would establish relationships, or, even if they didn't, if the family didn't per se establish a relationship, what would happen is that if you were interested in someone, you could never go and initiate contact yourself, because all propriety had to be observed for the protection of mother as well as son. And the courtship went on for a minimum of 1 year. That means that if you went out to the movies, you had a chaperone. If you went walking in the mall or the park, you had a chaperone. You were never left alone completely. There was always somebody to make sure that both parties virtue and reputation were maintained. And that's why, if you look back, we had family members who got together and were together until they died, like 50, 60, 70 years together. Never a culture of divorce. That was never our culture. That was never our custom. Today, we have embraced a foreign custom, because that's not culture. We have embraced a foreign custom, and that custom is what is sponsoring the destruction of our family, because we have taken on, just like the prophet says, we have taken on the religion, European religion of which we know not. We have taken on this custom of engaging in relationships based on how you feel. We never did that. Not saying that how you feel was totally out of the picture, but you didn't get into a relationship solely because of that reason. Never, because we knew and we embraced the fact that whatever we were here to do, it was 100% about spiritual growth. That's it. The only reason we're in this third dimension world is so that we can have the lessons that this particular atmosphere, affords us to have for our spiritual growth. Yes, and sometimes in that growth, part of your lesson is either to have a companion or not. Now, having a companion doesn't mean that you got somebody who's going to work like a slave for you. Having a companion really was a very high form. It was more along the lines of you were. Let's think of the word. You wanted to accelerate your growth. Put it that way. Because when you have a companion living in close proximity to you, you got everyday reflection. Everyday reflection of self, not of them. People have this is another modern European custom. We always try to reflect ourselves onto other people. We can see what's wrong with everybody else. The fact that you can see what's wrong with everybody else is reflecting what is wrong with you. That's what reflection is. If you see somebody and you have an immediate dislike, strong dislike for them, that is the universe's way of saying, well, if you don't like them, you better check out what it is you don't like about them to find out what it is in you that needs to be checked. Because life is all about reflection. And it is only the strong and courageous people who get into relationships for spiritual growth, because you're going to be reflecting every single day. Every day. You ain't going to be able to get away from it. But that was the beauty of this whole universal law. Because the other part of that is, like attracts like. But if you attract somebody, and then all of a sudden you find out, oh, I can't stand them. I can't stand them. Oh, my God, I hear people saying that all the time. I can't stand them. But you were so in love when this all started out. Well, see, what happened was The more you spend time with them, the more you was reflecting yourself. And it's not them that you can't stand. It's the parts of you that you can't stand, that you don't want to work on. That's, man, let me tell you, this whole relationship thing, it is absolutely amazing. But we have adopted this custom of modern Europeans where we chasing after people because they half naked, damn near naked, running down the street, walking down the street, jogging down the street. Nothing is left out, or somebody got a nice possession. Somebody look good, smell good. That was never what relationships were about. However, if that is what you are all about, it's going to reflect on you. People are so caught up in identifying what everybody else's problem is. Oh, they can't hear me. Oh, they can't talk. Oh, they don't have the same interest. Oh, they blocking this and they blocking that. That is you. And that is what interaction is all about. That's what relationship is all about. The highest, it's only the strong and courageous people can get into a relationship and make it work. Make it work, meaning you're growing spiritually. You're completely aware of yourself and what that other person is reflecting for you to see, not for you to point out in them, because the fact that you can see it means it's all for you, 100%. So when we get into the courtship thing, the courtship, with all proprieties observed, it's all about you. Actually, it's a time where you get to know each other to see if you can deal with all that is going to be reflected to you. So if you can't deal with it, you ain't going to last. You ain't going to last. Look, if you can't deal with it, you ain't going to last past 4 months. I say 4 months, and I know Roger's going to give you the science behind the 3, 6, 9 months. But you got to get through the third month. If you make it through the third month, usually by the fourth month, the beginning of the fourth month, you already know if this is a wrap. You already know. Now, it's not that. It's not that. Okay, for example, it's one. See, this is not one-sided. See, one person may be open to receiving, but the other person is not, or the other person is open to receiving, and vice versa. And for this thing to work, both parties have to be open to looking at themselves. Forget about paying attention to everybody else. And you got to be open to correcting yourself. Because, a lot of people, they get into relationships and they're not correct. They know they're not correct. Yet they still get into relationships with people as if other people are supposed to deal with the fact that you don't want to correct yourself, which makes other people's spiritual growth stunted and makes them miserable. And that's not what relationships is all about. This is not about anybody falling into any, I'm going to have pity on you and stay with you because you're too incompetent to take care of yourself. That's not what this is about. I don't care what gender you are. Relationships are very beautiful, and they can be absolutely spiritually uplifting if we go back to that courtship phase of the relationship, which is an absolute science. But like I said, you got to be very courageous. You got to have strength and courage, true strength and courage to get into a relationship and stay there and learn your lessons, because relationships is all about reflecting. I hear people, and I used to be one of those people. I hear people talking about, oh, I want to remove myself from the public. I don't want to have no contact with people. That's punk. That's punk mentality. Yes, I'm speaking for myself too. That's punk mentality. That's you running away from yourself. You're saying, you know what? I don't want to learn no lessons. I'm going to keep myself away from everybody so I don't have to learn my lessons. Let me tell you what's going to happen with that. Universe is going to put you in the middle of a crowd, one that you can't get away from, because you come here to learn lessons, and dad darn it, you're going to learn it.
Okay. That's true. That's a fact.
You're going to learn some lessons. If your hair, if your hair looks the queen, if you're going to learn those lessons. You can sit there and try and run from it all you want to. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You're here to learn lessons for you. You. Paying attention to everybody else, because even when you're looking at everybody else, you're still looking at yourself. Because life is about reflection.
You know, that is so true. That is so true. And in the prophet's work, he says man's business is about reflection. And really, it couldn't be put more simpler in that our family structure, culture, etc., has been hijacked. It has been infiltrated. It's called social engineering. Let's see. I'm looking at something because okay. Now, as far as you were saying about the science of 3 months, it's really based in astrology, not based in it, but the astrologics, the science of astrology, which is expressing the universal law of energies. That's really what one has to go back to. Now, everybody right now is really excited about finding out about themselves, which is great, because before you can put yourself or join yourself with someone else, you kind of like to know what you're bringing to the table with yourself, that whole mapping that was left by the ancestors as a teaching tool is a necessity in order for you to know yourself. And, of course, we all know that was sort of excluded from what we had, the social engineering. So we've got generations who did not get involved with that in its proper manner at all, or its proper usage. So everyone knows that, it says, man, know thyself, man, know thyself. So it starts there with yourself. And then, it teaches you about energies, just basic stuff about energies and elements, water and fire. Fire and air compatible, earth and water compatible. And then there's variations of all of those mixtures. So it's basically teaching you the blueprint. And as you said, it's sometimes you can be attracted to someone, but it's only because you're attracted to their visual. And that might be because it has something to do with your rising. You might be attracted to that which is your rising, which is the presentment of a body. Or you may be attracted because you were taught to be attracted to, voluptuous women or muscular guys or, or whatever it is in your head. However, you also, and Liz and I was talking about this, you also may have the guy that has all the muscles, but he doesn't have nothing behind it. So that's just how he's rising. But that don't mean he has any content of character. So remember, this is about building character. When you go to the Circle 7 Holy Quran, it's chapter 5. You're building character, getting rid of all the naughty and ungainly things. How can you do that with someone else if you haven't done it with yourself first? To bring to bring whatever is cleaned up with you to the table. So then in astrology, you spoke about reflection, which is what we call polar reflections, or people call them opposites. They're really not opposites, but they are really polar reflections. And everyone, just in talking about their sun sign, has a polar reflection. And the truth is that most people when they meet their polar reflection, they don't like them. They're like, oh, I never was attracted to my, I'll tell them what they're, Aries is Libra, Taurus is Scorpio, Gemini is Sag, Cancer is Capricorn, Virgo is Pisces, and Leo is Aquarius. That's it. Those are the 6 signs, and the other 6 are the reflections of it. So most people, when they meet their reflection, or if you say to them, well, your polar reflection, which is really your best mate, is whatever it is, they're like, oh, I don't like them. Well, it's because you don't like yourself, because they are a reflection of whatever your sign is. They're the same energy on opposite ends of the polarity. That's it, and that's all. And once they can meet and blend, meet in the center, if you will, balance out, really is what that means, then you're good. Then you've mastered the polar reflection. You're able to see the polar reflection. But first, you got to see it in yourself. So most people don't do that because, as you mentioned, they don't like looking at themselves. So they attract to them that which are the lessons. Listen, it's a fact. You attract to you the lessons that you need to learn. You do. Like something has happened with us. And that's, again, the interjection of social engineering that has nothing to do with our being, existing culture, and love, and I don't want to say evolution, or revolving in this life. It has nothing to do with it because someone else interjected it. It. For instance, back in the 40s, let's say, 50s, you didn't have no man putting his hands on a woman without him getting his ass whipped, right? It just didn't happen that way. It was, but now if you choose to be in such a relationship, and I bring that up to this day and any day, then you have to look at why are you choosing to be in that. Now you could counsel with someone, you could tell them all the reasons, and then the person you're talking to said, no, that's something in you. Why would you? That's something in you that you need to fix, and that's why you're attracting it. Then you can go to, well, I was raised in a household where mommy and daddy always beat up each other. All right, now we're getting somewhere to get to a start, because that's where it all starts anyway. How you were brought into this world, what house, 4th house, which is house of home, that you are subjected to. You are subjected to whatever goes on when your parents bring you, when your mother and father bring you into a home setting. Whatever's going on there, you were subjected to it, not necessarily at your will, but you were. It's still something that you have to overcome, but at least we identified where you learned it from, because we all learned from our earlier ages, which is the personal houses. That's what it is, the personal houses. 3 are your personal, independent, who you are, whatever like that. And the next 3 are still personal, but they are what you are personally subjected to. And then the reflection of all of that, it reflects in the social houses. Back to, right. So what did you get taught and learn as a child is what will reflect once you cross over that 7th house out of the 6th into the social arena. This is what is coming from mama's home, from mom and daddy's home, whatever. If you had both parents, actually we had parents, grandmas, aunts, uncles, and all that, And so this is what is being presented from the home, mommies and daddies, into society. And so that's why you have, like we talked about, what they call the debutante cotillions. Debut means debut. Debut what? My child into what? Society. Now, did the child learn? What did the child learn? Well, what does the child learn at this time, in these earlier years, and raising up? What did they learn? That's the next thing, because whatever that was, is what they will project, because it's a polar reflection, period. It can't be any different. Simplified. If you didn't teach the child manners, thank you, no thank you, you're welcome and all that, guess what? They're going into society without them, period. Now, you just, if you talk about it, well, then your mama teach you anything or whatever. But if you didn't do it, they are going to have it. So if you're raising children and you're mad because of what went on with you, and you feel like, well, my child, I'm going to make sure they don't have to do this and they don't have to do that and all that kind of stuff, well, that's what you are presenting into society. Remember the duty. Now again, chapter 23 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran divinely prepared by Prophet Noble Drew Ali for the issues we have today. That's why it's tailored. Because here's the deal. Consider thou art a parent, the importance of thy trust, the being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. Upon thee also it dependeth whether the child of thy bosom will be a blessing or a curse to you, and a useful or a worthless member to the community. Prepare him early with instruction and season his mind with the maxims of truth. Now, everybody knows we ain't got the truth. We know that did not happen, okay, all right, in society. Watch of his inclinations. Set him right in his youth, and let no evil habit gain strength with his years. All right, what does that mean? I know we understand. Watch the bent of his inclinations. That means you're looking at your child. That's why they say mama know her child. You see what they're inclined, what their inclinations are, what they're inclined to do, be, say, and act as. You already see it when they're young. So therefore it says set them right. Right? Don't let the bad habits that you see gain strength with their years. But first, you got to see it. This is the duty. Okay? And then the child shall rise like a cedar on the mountains. His head shall be seen above the trees of the forest. However, a wicked child, well, they say a wicked son is a reproach to his father, but he that does right is an honor to his gray hairs. All right? So in this particular chapter, when you go to verse 8, it starts out with teach him obedience, and he shall bless thee. That's Aries. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. That's Taurus. And it goes on down, and that's where he's reflecting, and you can read it yourself, and you'll see the correlation. That's what it's talking about. So now, this is what we're supposed to do. Well, let me say it again. It says, consider thou art a parent, the importance of thy trust, thy being thou hast produced, is thy duty to support. Right? All right. Someone interjected something in there for generations. And instead of us as a family recognizing, acknowledging, and acting upon the fact that these are the things we need to do, and the astrology rule, by the way, is your tool to be able to understand your child and any yourself and everyone else, and understand how the elements mix. All right, so family planning, period, by energy, by coming through you, and so with that, that's why in astrology, when you have a household, you got to deal with, that there's 3 signs in front of you. You're going to be desiring that energy. And that goes on through your life, but you're desiring that energy because fatally sometimes because you did not receive it when you were in your mother's womb under those 9 solar months and 10 lunar months. You did not get that energy because nobody in the house, for instance, had that energy. So that can happen a lot with single children who are only one child because they don't have a host of others, because every being based on whatever their solar energy is, and lunar, which is their conceiving energy is, which is their moon, which is their true inside self. They have the 3 signs in front that they did not get that energy, so they seek it in their life. That's another way you seek that energy that's missing because it wasn't in the 9 months that you were in your mom's womb. So then there's three people. So now we got you seeking three energies, but what about the energies that are seeking you? That need your energy, or the beings who need your energy. So now you're talking about your family planning. You have a household of people who somebody always feels needed. Someone's always helping and assisting. All right, because that's the energies, and that's the real true family planning. But again, there's been an interjection. First, the interjection was you're not even supposed to look at the science to find out, to know yourself, because it's considered taboo or it doesn't exist, or, you're supposed to become some other religious fiction that all of the religions all of them come off of the science of the universe. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, right. So what do you have? So now as far as relationships go, I mean, it's so many levels to this conversation that it really can't be totally understood and understood until you do what? Study it first and foremost, and then it becomes the foundation and platform for all of the rest that you're doing. So I'm going to jump to the relationship thing. When you had mentioned after like 4 months, no, really, and everybody listening will know it's true. When you hook up with someone, you know in 3 months, which is 90 degrees, which is the first corner to turn, you know there's something about them that you isn't quite right, but you ignore it for the sake of keeping it going. You know in 6 months, this is guaranteed. Go back and check it or watch it in forthcoming. In 6 months, you definitely know, but you still accept it. And why do you definitely know? Because 6 months is a 180-degree polar reflection. We talk a math science of the universe, but it's real basic stuff. If you learn the astrology and the mathematics with that, then you would get it. This is why in RVBey's zodiac constitution, which is what we really go by, because that's the universal law, he even includes the best mates. And if you look at it, they're all polar reflection. Because if you're working on you and you've worked on you or whatever, and you're going to be you're the same. You're the same energy. You're polar reflection. It just needs to be moderated. It needs to be balanced. That's what it needs. That's why it's the best. That's where your best lessons are, etc., like that. Because it is a reflection of you. And you are here to reflect, because man's business is about reflection, as you explained earlier. There it is. That's why. That's why they are the best mates, bar none, initially, foundationally. That is why. All right? So then there's the angle signs, and this is the second best mate, like that. Like they tell the story, I think in Egyptology stories, they talk about Mayat and some affair she had with the Leo or the lion or something like that. Somebody who knows can correct it most specifically. However, upon knowing astrology, they're just talking about the second best mate for Mayat, which is Libra. Mayat is Libra, and which is the Leo. See, but if we do the science, we would have been able to pick up that codification. Because the tool is definitely the wheel. Whether you call it the Dandara, it's still the astrology wheel, illustrated in a different way. So back to the 6 months in your relationship, the reason why you saw some things that you might even think is a little bit unacceptable or unbearable is because that's the 180 polar reflection. So, yes, it's coming up in the relationship. Now, you can, again, choose to ignore it. And I'm going to tell you why you choose to ignore it. But now let's get to 9 months. In the 9th month, the baby's born. Whatever you are vetted in and invested in, it has taken its root and it's on and popping. That's it. You have accepted the 3 months, the 6 months, the 3 month first square, the 6 month polarity reflection, and you've gone on to establish the baby in 9 months. Now, why is it that we do not, this is called a part of the courting and getting to know someone prior to. Here's why. Because you meet the guy or the girl, it goes both ways. By 3 months, you done already gave the keys to the house, the keys to the car, by 6 months, you done gave, access to the bank account or whatever. You feel like you are to invest it, and you having trouble disconnecting because that already went down when it ought not go down because you need to do what? Court first. You need to learn the person you're dealing with first, and you need to see the signs and know the signs. You don't see them nor know them because we don't know the various personalities, characteristics of man. Both male and female species, we don't recognize them, whether they're visual or actual, what have you. We don't recognize them. And then we try to put the square, put a square into a circle or a circle into the square? Which one doesn't work? Well, the circle does go into the square because the circle is a square, quite frankly, mathematically. But we be trying to fix the peg in the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? The square peg in the round hole of the same dimension. Not going to happen. Why do we do that is the question that we need to now begin to ask ourselves. It goes back to what we have been trained and believed by social engineering injection for the purpose of destroying the Moorish family and culture, the natural beings and people and their culture. We do these things for reasons that have no rhyme and no real reason. Now, we can continue to talk about this, but there is a few things that we need to understand as ancient prophecies, and one of them I shall read for our sisters and the brothers, right? And that is the Dead Sea Scrolls prophecy of the Essenes. Now has come the last age of the Song of Cumae. From the renewed spirit of the ages, a new order is born. Now the Virgin returns. The reign of Saturn returns. Now a new generation is sent down from heaven on high. Now, when we say virgin, we don't necessarily mean that it's non-sexual. We're talking about the purity of life, of all the things that do not harm. That's the higher self, all right? If you read the 101s, it tells you exactly what the higher self is and the lower self. So if you're not sure, read that, and then you will know what the higher self is and what the lower self is, all right? So the other one, and this is pertaining to all the modern Europeans today, I just got to put this in, and to us, so that we can understand what is going on right now. We must understand out of the cave. It says from the the one I'm reading is from the prophecy of the scene. Getting ready to read. The one I just read was from the fourth eclogue of the messianic prophecy of the Sibyl. Okay? That was the one where now has come the last age of the Song of Cumae. What I'm about to read is from the Dead Sea Scrolls as well, the prophecy of the Essenes. Now, this is for all people who operate with their lower self and all people who don't seem to get what's happening right now. Here it is. And they do not know the future mystery or understand ancient matters, and they do not know what is going to happen, and they will not save their souls from this future mystery. So this should help to understand what's going on, and that we have to go back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, who are the mothers and fathers of civilization on the entire planet. And we have slipped from that, and it doesn't really matter why. Like people say, well, it's because, we went to school and they didn't teach us about these things. Well, the universe, nature has no, what's the word, for your personalization, really. It is what it is. That's it. That's all. And cause and effect. That's it. That's all. Cause and effect. And all of this is learned on the astrology wheel. All of this is learned by the universal sciences and energies. Cause and effect. When this energy is near, like if a planet is in one of your houses, one of the 12 houses, and say it's Mars, and then you have another planet, and say it's Uranus, well, there's some problems. So now you look at that, and you say, okay, this is what I got to deal with this particular house, because Mars and Uranus is always causing conflict with each other. because Uranus doesn't bend, and Mars is always ready to fight. So there you go. That particular is a description only of a particular energy, and that would be a part of your lower self, identified by the unfavorable, if you will, aspects of your chart. Now, that's how you get to learn to know yourself. Look at that chart. Look at where the aspects, which means the planets in relationship to the heavenly bodies and the energies they emit onto the earth plane, and their relationship to each other. How close are they? Are they far enough away where those energies are softened, or are they so close that you're constantly having conflict? And people constantly who repeatedly have conflicts in relationships. And it's the same thing. You know what, Anna E? Is it not usually the same damn conflict they keep attracting? The same problem. It's the same. Yes. It's not a new one. So then all of a sudden you start to feel like something wrong with me. Or somebody might pull your coat. You know what, girl, every time you get into a relationship, you have the same daggone problem. You need to look at yourself and see what's up. Well, they just told you the truth. Because not everybody can be the same. You know what I'm saying? It's you. It's us. I want to say this, too. We have to first look at our own social duties. That's another one that's and then, look, first, you got social duties of man, period. Then you got social duties of the wife to the husband. Then you got social duties of the husband to the wife. Then you got the duties of those of you to children. But first, you got to look at what is my social duty, period. Once you know what it is you're here for and the lessons you're to learn, then you would know not to attract someone or be with someone that is contrary to what you need to do. And this is where women find themselves often because, again, it has been interjected and it has been written in one line. Okay, you are to get married and have children and cook dinner every day and clean the house every day and succumb to whatever your husband wants. That's not true. That is so damn untrue. Not. Please don't get it wrong. We're not rebuking those activities because every last one of them must be done. I'm not saying that. We're not saying that. But is that, and when we say is that your social duty, if you just go by that scribe right there, then you're never going to find what it is you're supposed to be doing. That mate is supposed to be supporting you to do and you supporting him to do. And you still can have the children to come up in the same energy that you have that is beautiful and scribe to you that you can share and pass on to your children in a healthy environment as opposed to an unhealthy one. So the first thing is your duties, period, to the society. Then it's your duty to the mate you choose or the partner you choose, be it sexual or otherwise, whatever. But first it's you. What are you bringing to the table? That's why the astrology is the first 6 houses. You don't get into the social. The first 6 houses are personal. Then it's the social that you step into. After you got your personal straight, then you deal into the social. That's what it's showing you. So what we've received is a whole different script that is absolutely out of order. That's not the script for you. That's why we have so many problems. Then it's so bad that we are allowing another whole species of people to be our family. This is great. Okay. Such as the family services program. They're not your family. Duh. They don't even understand your ancient culture. They don't even understand your culture, period. They don't know, you know what, not your culture. Let's erase your culture, all right? They don't even understand nature's rules. They created their own rules, social engineering, to take and destroy your family, and it has worked. And so then you get to the point where, you don't know what is up and what is down. That's some social duties. I'm going to read social duties, and then we can move on When thou considerest thy wants, when thou beholdest thy own imperfections, acknowledge his goodness. O Son of humanity, who honored thee with humanity, endowed thee with speech, and placed thee in society to receive and confer reciprocal help and mutual obligations, protection from injuries, thy enjoyment of the comforts and the pleasures of life, all these thou owest to the assist and couldst not enjoy but in the bands of society. Let me just start right there. That's why you need not have no child of yours going into society and they don't even have the basic freaking society manners. Then they become, okay, it's the same that's simple to understand. But just like the prophet said in some of these writings, and it's written in other ancient writings, lawyers, scribes, and what else, are useless, and doctors, useless cumbersomes to society. You know this is true because we already are natural medicine men. The earth gives us what we need. We know that the law is imbued in all of us, and it is not by what is written. We know this. What's the other one? Attorneys, lawyers, that's what they're applying to. You're the law, but what is the other one? Doctors, whatever, and that's in that verse. We already know that. These things have been interjected. That's why they have become useless, because you are the law manifested from your mother's womb. She just laid the law down when she laid you down. When you were born from her, she just put the law down, this universal law. That's why, again, when you get into the zodiac competition, it talks about what is your best energy mate. We have missed all of that and have subscribed to something other than that. And therefore, we're not able to assist each other. And that's the other, chapter 25, holy instructions for the Asiatic nation, etc. We can't do none of that because we are bought into something other than what we ought to be doing in our lives and to assist. We can't even assist each other. Half of our people, they don't know what side of the fence they're on. They'll throw you under the bus because of what they believe is authority and stuff. Really, it's out of order. So it is thy duty, therefore, to be a friend to mankind, as it is thy interest that man should be friendly to thee. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. That's what I just said. As the rose breedeth sweetness from its own nature, so the heart of a benevolent man produces good work. He enjoys the ease and tranquility of his own breast and rejoices in the happiness and prosperity of his neighbor. That means no jealousy. No, I want to do what you do. No, I want to do it like you. No, do it like you. All right? He opens not his ear unto slander. The faults and the failings of men give a pain to his heart. His desire is to do good, and he researcheth out the occasions thereof. That means you're looking for the good stuff, not the bad stuff. All right? And that's there's another statement where in the circumcised Quran, it says, look for the best in others and give the best in you. So that's what this is also saying. His desire is to do good, and he researches out the occasions thereof, and removing the oppression of another, he relieveth himself. From the largeness of his mind, he comprehendeth in his wishes the happiness of all men. And from the generosity of his heart, he endeavors to promote it. Those are just period social duties. So, then you go into the duties of the wife, the wife to the husband to the wife, and they are equal. It's not one is over the other. Let's go back to our courtship problem. There was some social stuff engineered for us where it's patriarchal. Now, when we say that, we're not going against our sons because we've been so misunderstood that people think that, we don't like sons. And no, we don't. But unfortunately, it's not our doing, and it's not our fault. Face the fact. This shit that they are imploding upon us is called patriarch. It's a patriarchal when we come from a matriarch, and so do you, son. Okay? All right? And what has been imposed, interjected into this social engineering is a patriarchal mindset. That's not our fault. We're just trying to say get rid of the patriarchal mindset. That's all. But by saying so, it's like, oh, you're against God, men. No, that's the code that has word for what has been done. That's what it is. Period. That's how it is. So we have this social engineering and the pains of our people, be it our sons or the women, because they already have had a place for the sons to break their backs. All right, and most of them are in prisons unlawfully. They're not criminals. All right, so now they're ready to break mama's back too. Even though that already kind of occurred psychologically because it's our children. And because we also bought into this social engineering that crept up on you like you really didn't know. Now we're seeing the effects of it in generations. But I want to say this, too. There's a book, and I apologize because I only scanned the pages in, and I know Dave scanned it in. He knows what the name of it is. Maybe he'll call in and tell me. And it's called Becoming Woman. And I just want to read something out of it. She will not be a city-bred lady ready to faint at a prick of a finger, or one who worships at the shrine of fashion and the hot pond, but she will emerge from a cottage amid the hills, a well-made, well-cultured, and perfect woman. Do you realize what that means? I doubt it, for the best of us men are fooled and bewildered to our heart's content by the very imperfect women of today. I have been. At any rate, the coming woman will not be a virago. Now, I had to look up virago, right? V-I-R-A-G-O, because I didn't know what it meant. All right, let me see what I'm saying here. And so I did look it up, so let me give you the definition before I read the rest of the sentence so we can all, this is what you have to do in order to truly be an understanding of what's being said. All right, the coming woman will not be a virago, meaning that she will not be necessarily be a large, powerful woman or Amazon in size, or Amazon meaning large, or a turbulent, quarrelsome woman. That's what it means. She doesn't have to be. You run the home. Everything that comes from the home comes from you. So we shouldn't have to be all of that in response or in reaction to this false culture that has been placed upon us and our sons to reflect back to us. And so then it becomes explosive and combative because we're fighting the wrong thing. We're not seeing what it is that truly is attacking us, which is attacking the entire family. It's not just the woman, a woman, or any type woman. It's all of women because everyone comes through her womb. Everyone comes through her, so she has to get it correct. I said before, you could have all the sons line up, ready, soldier, ready to go, ready to do what they do. And they're temperate in nature, which is to protect, really, all right, and provide and protect. That doesn't mean that you can't, that when we say provide, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with finances or what you call money. It means that, what comes out of the home is the important thing. So provide the home or provide and make sure that the home is taken care of. Oh, and that just brings me to one other thing that's important. Because this whole conversation is so varied, got so many tentacles. For instance, maintenance on a house. Let's say you're in a house. Let's just take it really down to real simplistic stuff. All right? You're in a house. You got food in the cupboards. You know what I mean? You got doorknobs on the cupboards, on your cabinet. Well, from use, them daggone doorknobs get loose. That's natural. That's going to happen. You have a son in the house or a daughter, if you don't have a son, that doesn't know. We're not being taught because not his fault, not being taught. Every now and then, tighten up the damn handles so they don't fall off, become stripped, and then you can't put a handle. That's a bigger problem. That is called maintenance. That's important stuff. Little stuff. Now, I'm not saying that only a guy should have a screwdriver and a woman shouldn't. I'm just saying because, we can all do it. But I'm saying these are the little things of maintenance. Provide. and protect and keep things going. That's what it means. So let's say all the guys are ready to do what they do, but the women are all screwed up. Now I'm taking it away from the screwdriver in the drawer because you could do that yourself, but I'm just saying these are some of the tenets of the things that we're missing in upholding our own homes and what comes out of our homes, all right? You know, you get people, then they go rent an apartment and they got to call the so-called landlord to change the light bulb because they don't even know how to do that. That's some ridiculous stuff. That's weakness. That's like more than weakness. But this is how some of our generations have been raised, and they only did it because they're angry at the quote-unquote white man and what he's done. So they're going to make him come and figure out how to change the light bulb or tighten the damn screw on a knob. You're in there. You need to know these things for then, now, and in the future, you know, to maintain your own environment. If you're in an environment, you should be ought be concerned about the condition of the environment yourself, first and foremost. And I know, Annie, you know what I'm talking about because, you know, we talked about this before, how we have to do whatever we have to do, you know, to take care of the home. So let's say that all of the sons are ready to go to battle. And when I say battle, I mean, you know, up to bat, you know, ready, they're soldiers, they're protecting, they're doing everything right, they're whatever. If the women aren't right, the whole thing's going to fall apart. And then it's just a division, and that's the social engineering that is occurring right now. So it's always the yak and complain from men, the sisters to the men or the sons, and the sons to the sisters. And now you don't want to be with anybody, as you mentioned earlier. And, you know, they hate you and you hate them. And then the children are raised in these environments of home where they watch mom and dad fight and fuss all the time. And so the little girls grow up hating guys, you know, might hate you too because they don't know how to navigate through that. But they can learn from it. And if they pick it up and learn from it, then you got a second generation doing the same damn thing, and a third and a fourth. And then they create family services because they see the sign that your child just showed the sign of violence. Where did they learn that from? They must have learned it from their house. And then they start all these damn programs to fix your problem while they make finances, but we won't fix it our damn self. Something's wrong with that.
That's right.
There's something wrong. It's really, it's I yield the floor, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
We let them fix our problem. We won't fix it.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. You know, but we have to recognize and we have to know that look, I'm not trying to exclude sons from anything. But look, it's right on the 101, and this is just the common sense of everything, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is for what I see. She is the one that is bringing in the next generation. She is the one, so it is, you know, it's the 101. She's the one that. She has got to wake up. She's the one that's got to put these things in order. And one of the ways that we can do that for everybody's safety, for everybody's well-being, for everybody's peace of mind, incorporate the courtship. Because you know what? I would much prefer, because, you know, it's like once you go past the friendship, some people are skipping right over friendship and going right into relationship. You know, so you don't know where that's going to end up. But this is my feeling. If you have a friendship and you don't take the necessary time to get to know each other, and you move into that relationship phase, quite a lot of times it's hard to move back to friendship. Somebody always got injured feelings about what did or did not happen, and you know, which brings us right back to reflection. because it's never about what did or did not happen for the other person. It is always about what did you learn. Whatever happens in life, regardless of whether you're in a relationship, you're in a friendship, you know, you're just going through your day-to-day, whatever it is, the question that needs to be asked is, what did you learn? Did you learn from this? I mean, because, see, the lesson is not for the other person. It's always for you. And so that's what we have to always look at, and that's what we have to reflect on. And that's why, you know, I'm not saying that the sons, and I know a couple sons who will maintain that, you know, distance, all propriety, you know, for at least a year or more. I know a few, like a hand, one hand with fingers left over. I know a few sons that can maintain that, but it shouldn't be a few sons. I know a few sisters can maintain it. It shouldn't be a few sisters. It should be across the board. Everybody should be doing this because it is what is going to bring our family back together. One of the many components that is going to bring our family back together. Just that little thing can turn a lot around. Mm-hmm. You know, our children can get off the radar. Our sons can get off the radar. Our sisters can get off the radar of the modern European form of revenue generator because we're not doing things haphazardly. As long as we're doing things haphazardly, they know they got a perpetual revenue generator. And what do I mean by that? We have been mentally conditioned to believe that, having somebody else look at who we are choosing for a mate is just not normal. Just from modern Europeans. Oh, that's not normal. You having somebody else pick your mate? What if you love them? Well, I'm thinking that many of us don't know nothing about love. Many of us are functioning under self-hate. So,
say that again.
I know from my own experience, you may not get into a situation loving someone, but you can grow to love them. And I think that's what our ancestors knew. You know, over time you learn to appreciate somebody that got your back, been there for you, working together. See, that's the key right there. Working together. It ain't all on the mother and it ain't all on the son. They're working together. I have a very good friend. Her father just recently passed away. And I don't think the mother ever worked a day in her life. They were married for 60 years, over 60 years. He married her when she was 15. People sitting here talking, that's robbing the cradle. No, that is not. That is a son who knew exactly what he wanted and took care of her and provided for the whole family, and they made it work and grew together for 60-plus years. That's amazing. Modern Europeans got us sitting here saying, oh, that's robbing the cradle. No, it's not. That's how we did it successfully. Look at that. 15, married at 15, married together harmoniously for 60 years. Who got that going on today under the modern European mental enslavement? Where is that happening today? He worked. She made sure that he left that house with breakfast, lunch, dinner. If she had to get a ride or take the bus to bring it to him, she was doing that. I was sitting with her and talking with her, and she said, the family unity was just my family. She said that the nurses in the hospital, because he was in the hospital for a minute before he passed. He was in the hospital. Everybody on that floor knew they don't have to come and take care of this man. They don't have to bring him no food. They don't have to turn him at all. The family was there. That's all they needed to do was to tell them what was wrong with him, because that's the way it was going. But nobody washed him up. Mama was there to wash him up. If Mama wasn't there, daughter was there. If daughter wasn't there, son was there. If daughter, son, and mother wasn't there, aunt was there, uncle was there, nephews, grandbabies was there. This man wanted for nothing. They never filled out a menu because somebody was bringing him food. And everybody on the floor knew this. And when he realized that this thing was more serious, he said, I want to go home. Bring me home. He was out of there in no time. He passed away in his bed next to his wife with the whole family around. The whole family. And today, I can't be there, but today he was planning on being here. And one of the things he wanted to do today was to have all the grandbabies and the great-grandbabies and the aunt and everybody come on over to the house. Let's sit down and have dinner. He was supposed to be here today, but he's not here. He passed. And I ain't there because I'm at work. Got locked in. But that's all right. I was at work, so that's all right. But that's how family works. This from two people where she was married at the age of 15. That is the science. And he knew her for a good length of time before. Had come and asked permission from her daddy to even come and say hello.
But that's a natural thing. There's a natural thing for fathers. They, even the brothers, they're running out here chasing after women for physical reasons. But then when they have their own daughters, they get it. You get it. They're like, oh no, So yeah, it's interesting. It really is. And we're not saying that people should like you just brought up about how choosing the mate. People think, oh well, you're going to choose the mate for me. Well, the truth is, it's not that. It's that we knew the science, and really, if we all knew the science, you would know how to choose your own mate anyway. However, some of that time period came through keeping the blood pure or keeping things in the family, depending, and that's from a whole different era. But it's not that anyone is choosing the mate; it's that the universe is choosing. You're choosing it through the energies and principles. That's really what it is. But we're so far away from that, So that's, again, what is your purpose for being here? And then find a mate that you support each other's purpose. And believe me, it will be some similarity just by osmosis. It'll be some similarity and not based on, like one of the things they interjected into social engineering was they took the sex, right? Dark energy, and they exploited it. Yeah, and they teach. Right. Don't they have the nerve to teach? What is it called? Sex education and all. It's really about selling you a condom or birth control. That's not even 100%. That's all it is.
But that's exactly why our children have no business in those institutions. None whatsoever, because I remember my daughter coming home one day with a bag full of off, talking about, oh, they had sex education in school. My daughter was a tomboy until like the age of like 13, right? When they had this talk, my daughter her mind was not on boys at all. And I wasn't having it to be focused on boys because, first of all, my thing is this. I don't need you people to be talking to my children about sex education at all. As far as I'm concerned, that's not your job. Your job is to teach my child how to read, how to write, how to do basic mathematics, and how to do research and find the rest of the information. And I went down to this institution and told them this. That's not your job. How dare you presume to talk to my child about sex education? That's not open for discussion. Don't ever do it again. Well, what are we supposed to do? And all the other children, I said, I don't care what you do. I don't care what the other children is doing. Send her to the library if you have to, but she's not going to be participating in that. And that's what happened. But how many other parents are doing that? And I'm not faulting. I'm not saying it's the fault of the parents. Because this is all about setting us up. Many parents, mothers, sons, overwhelmed, busy working jobs, sometimes 2 or 3. You are trusting, and maybe a little too much, that these institutions are doing right by your child. You can never allow public servants free access without the proper checks and balances.
Yes. You know what? That brings me to something I'm not really sure about. It. Maybe somebody on the line can give some better information. This is a perfect place to interject this. Homeschooling. Now, remember that you have a right to homeschool. I know something I think recently came up where they took a child and they said they would do a mother and took her children because, again, I don't have other details, she was doing everything right. And I'm thinking, well, what could she be doing everything right unless somehow, and I'm not saying this is the truth because I don't know, but I do know that somehow she, even in the mothers homeschooling, somehow they make a contract with the local public schools and they don't realize it. In other words, I know this for a fact in other cases. I don't know about this one. Because when the sisters, I believe this was out of the so-called Texas, corporate Texas, I'm not sure, they were doing homeschooling, and they had written, emailed me on it, and they were saying something about now, see, remember these Europeans, they get into think tank, and everything that we are going to do, they try to figure out how they can interject. And because they know that we still have these strands that they are authority, we'll go with it. So in other words, these people were going to homeschool. But then that local municipality, because all schools come out of that, as well as hospitals, are established from those corporations, municipal corporations. They had said something about, well, we need to test you to see if you are able to teach your child. You know, in other words, if you have enough information. Well, see, right there, that's when the stop would come. Now, I'm not saying, now, it may be true. It may be true that the parent is not equipped, but she needs to go figure out what she needs to be equipped because there are all kinds of online classes that maybe the parent needs to take one the themselves first. However, be careful that it is not connected in an adhesion contract or agreement to one of these corporate educational institutions. And so this is how they trick you. So you're like, yeah, I'm homeschooling, but you don't know that somewhere you connected yourself to them. Do you know what I'm saying, Annie? Because this is what happened. They connected themselves and still had jurisdiction.
Well, see, I think one of the challenges that I think that we run into is we feel like we gotta. In some cases, yeah, you have to put these public servants in some cases they're contractors. You have to put them on notice for some things. For some things, you ought to know ain't none of their business. You don't need to let them know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it because, when I decided to take my children out of the public school and homeschool them myself, I went to the schools myself individually, and I told them I need all of their records. We're going somewhere else. Oh, we'll just have, and they would say, oh, we'll just have them contact us, and we'll give them the records. I said, no, I need the records right now. I'm taking it with me wherever I go. Ain't nobody contacting you. And that was the end of the. But see, sometimes I have found that our people feel like they gotta give all this whole scenario. Well, I'm Aboriginal, Indigenous, and I'm a Moor, and this, and we have a historical background of my family and how we roll and all. No, Just like when if you do choose to go that route and have your child in institutions, they try to push on you the inoculation, where they call it immunization. Really, it's called poisoning, slow poisoning. Really, they try to push that on you, and our people, they get into this big thing about, oh my God, I'm gonna write a whole bit about it. No, you don't. You don't even have to do that. But we get into this, oh, my gosh, I got to write a whole writ about that. Let them know my ancestral line and da-da-da. No, you don't. If you turn the rule form over, there's a box that you can check that says religion, something or another, this is religion, this is against my religion. Just check the box. That's it.
Yeah, that means nothing else. But go ahead. When you finish that, I got another one.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we a lot of times we don't quite get that you're private, and I understand that we don't get that because we've been mentally conditioned. But the bottom line is, look, we have to get our mind. This is just with my Moors. This is with modern Europeans as well. We're private people. I don't care what contracts are out there, because lawfully, if you don't know the complete A to Z of the contract, there ain't two signatures on there. A flesh and blood being cannot enter into a contract with a fiction. And unless you know that you're just functioning as the authorized signature, the contract is null and void. If you don't know that is the only capacity you're functioning in is the authorized signature, then that is null and void. Can't nobody everything is done under threat, duress, coercion, or lack of full disclosure. It's void. And you got people out there scaring people, making them make premature decisions or rushing into situations because they think that, oh my God, if I don't do this now, somebody could be knocking on my door at any minute. It does not happen that way, especially if you're not even doing anything. I've been in conversations on the phone with people who they hear a click, 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 and oh, they're listening. Well, what are you doing and talking about that's so relevant? Out of the billions and billions of people, they picked you to listen to your call. And so what? You ain't talking about nothing unlawfully, so stop tripping. And
right.
And see, that's giving them power. Them, whoever them is, that's giving them power. You better say we need to take our power back. They are not that relevant. Really, they're not that relevant. We need to think of ourselves, our family, and how we can make things better for us individually Forget about trying to help everybody else. And that's not selfish. But here's the science of that. Chapter 1, man is mind. Man is mind. That means that everything that you are experiencing right now, you are experiencing because you created it. So can't nobody come into your mind and recreate it for you. You got to do it yourself. So leave other people alone. Work on yourself. You know, so many people is running around absolutely embodying the parable of being so concerned with the splinter in someone else's eye when they got a log in their own.
You know, I wanted to mention something else before we go on about as we're talking about, we still have this thing in our head that has been brainwashed or programmed that, you know, these people who are not our family are authorities over us. For instance, recently someone emailed me, and they used the nationality card and the student card, which is a great secondary card, to go to a bank to open up a bank account. Now, listen, this is a great example of what we mean by private and how they try to interject and connect. All right, so they used the student card. So the bank told them that, we'll accept this, but you must give us the terms of your enrollment into the school. We're talking about the Moorish MHHS School student card. Now, why did they ask for the terms of enrollment into the school? First of all, it's none of their business what your terms of enrollment into the school is. They asked because they know that if you enrolled in one of their corporate structured schools, they got information on you that they can collude and share and have something else tied, have information about being tied to something that they present. Well, the Moorish History School is not under their jurisdiction. And about the privacy part, your terms is none of their business. But we don't see that these are the little tricky things that they do. So now you would just respond. But I told the guy, I said, look, it's a virtual school with perpetual enrollment. That answers the question. Am I right?
That is still none of their business. It's still none of their business. But this is what I see. What I see is that was a test. All right, because that's like where do you go? Where do you go? Like, for example, you go to turn on your light, electricity. You go to try to initiate electricity, and they ask you for a social security policy number. It's an insurance policy. So right away, what people should be asking is, well, what do you need my insurance policy number for?
Mm-hmm.
Right away, that should be your answer. So when they say, oh, well, I need your terms and conditions. Well, what do you need that for? What does that have to do with you? I'm not coming to you for a loan or anything.
Right.
What does that have to do with you? Those should be the answers that people are given instead of giving up their private and confidential information.
But that's the kind of thing. That's that, and then so it shows you how we still think they're authority. It also shows you how they try to be tricked or, try to trick you into how they're looking for you to be tied to their corporate jurisdiction, and you're not. But it doesn't mean you can't have things that function and that you are not functioning privately. So you're right. It's a good example. But see, as you said, by us not knowing this in the past, this is how they were able to make this network and this social network and, review everything. They're actually they're going into think tanks to try to see how they can, serve the ball back into the courts, like, all right, they're doing this. We have to accept that student card. Like, it's like, for instance, again, you take the student, and I know we do it all the time. You can go to any store, let's say Staples, any store that has student discount. And that's not the reason for it, but just as an example. What are they going to do? Oh, we only mean schools that are, corporately under the corporate jurisdiction of a corporate state. They can't do that. If that's the case, they need to post it, and that would be what? Discrimination. You know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't be able to do that either, because a lot of these places, they cater to people coming into this particular landmass. So that would be a great disservice. Although their greatest revenue generator is the people who are here.
Exactly. That's true.
And the reason we have to recognize, and I say this all the time, in order for us to go forward, because right now we're at a standstill, in order for us to go forward, we have to first recognize that we're lacking information, and we individually are in a catch-up mode. I know when I read the prophecies and the statements, and I see the what appears to be the amazing things that Prophet Noble Jew Ali was able to do. All right, some of the things he was able to do defied physics. How come he was able to do that? Was he able to do that because he was special? No. He wasn't able to do these things because he was special. He was able to do these things because he had mastered the manifestation of his world. All right? So that is our purpose, to be able to do the same thing. But many of us are trying to talk to other people and supposedly teach other people. And if we are not able to manifest our own world like the way we want to, we ain't got no business talking to nobody else. We got work to do on ourselves.
Well, he was special in his essence and purpose for being here, but he also was showing you what the capabilities of man who is mine, could do. We got a long way to go, but it's not that hard. Once you cross the bridge, you're done. Once it is lifted from the mind that these people are not an authority, they're not even your family. My goodness, it's craziness, right? And then you realize that they're just, and this is why it's so important that we all get in the same direction. As you said, we all must be in the same direction, because one group of us, of our family, will go and, for instance, sign up and give information that they then try to apply. Like you said, you could say, okay, this is against my religion. It's my religious right. And you shut your mouth. They don't need to know anything about what that religion is and or its rights or anything that has to do with its working. But another person will come in and start running their mouth about stuff. You know what I'm saying? So then they'll take that information and say, well, we have someone else who said that this is their religion too. And, we told them that they should just do this or that, and it still would be maintained within their religious structure. We talk too much. We don't understand the privacy, but the only reason we do it is because we are coming out of this mental slavery of thinking that these people are authority and or government when they're not. So with that, we have to study a little longer before making certain moves.
Right. Actually, what it is? What it is it is a mental purging. We have to mentally purge ourselves, because we absolutely are functioning off of that mental enslavement. Yeah. And that's why we really can't move forward. You can't move ahead if you are still mentally enslaved. It's just not possible.
Right.
That has to be purged. And the only way that I know to purge it is to constantly be in study mode, meaning you're constantly reading. Reading is an amazing process because when you read, you're reading with your eyes and you're reading in your mind. And so you're hearing your outer voice and your inner voice all at the same time. So that's like it's like you got a three-tier process going on. I never understood it till, back in my Amway days, they used to say, read. You got to read a book. You got to read. Oh, you can't, listening to a tape is reinforcement, but to get it into the cranium, you have to read. And let me tell you what I used to do. I used to read books and things that I wanted to get into my head onto a tape. And then I would listen to it over and over and over again. And I can tell you that works. I can tell you that works. That is what I do right now. That people say, wow, you know so much stuff. How in the world did you get all of that? How in the world do you remember all that stuff? How can you just bring it up at will? I'm going to tell you how I did it. I read all the time. And then I would read the information onto tapes that I wanted to get into my head and stick and stay. I would read it onto my digital recorder, burn it to a CD, and listen to it in my automobile, or I would just have it playing. And you know what? What I learned? Not only did it program me, it programmed my children because they were in hearing distance. So they got the information, and I got the information, and all of us, in some capacity, at some time, when we are ready, use it. Because I can tell you, from 2008, all of my children have used the information that I have learned in some way or form. That's how you purge your mind of the misinformation. And I can say this with absolute surety. If you are not spending your downtime is when you're not doing anything. And if you are not spending your downtime reading, you ain't studying, you ain't purging, and you are at the same place that you were when you got to this information.
Well, yeah.
Ain't nothing changed about you. Nothing. And it don't mean just because you put on a fez. And that's not the only qualification of a Moor now. Because let me tell you, everybody knows that if you claim to be a Moor, you know law. It ain't the fez that puts the information in your head. It's the actual studying.
It's interesting. And it really doesn't matter whether there's somebody that came out of the MSTFA or not. We all passed that right now. We all know that became, that was infiltrated along with all of the groups in around the 1933-ish or so when all of these other groups came about. But, it's like, for instance, going back and forth on an email, and I think we kind of touched on it on one of our live shows, I'm not sure, where someone went in and, they said something about the prophet did a municipality similar to the Italians or the Catholics or the Pope or some crap, and created a municipality and put that on a record. that is an extreme example of someone who did not study for it. It does not matter whether they came out or grew up in MST. It does not matter. It is so, because look, where is municipality in government? Nowhere. Where is municipality in the Constitution? Nowhere. What is a municipality? Roman venue. And I remember Ms. getting really upset years ago when the first person sent us some stuff about that. It was like, you got to be kidding me. A municipality, by definition, is a Roman venue. Why would the prophet or any of us want to emulate that? Misunderstanding what the religious corporation rights are only supported by the Constitution Amendment 1.
Well, what that person really has demonstrated is that, they have that saying, I'm in the world but not of the world.
Mm.
And what that means is that you can be in, like, all of this stuff. Look, Prophet Noah Driving, he was in the midst of a lot of confusion. But that confusion didn't have the ability to alter his mental focus. So he was able to create his own world, all right? Now, people who are caught up in corporations, the corporate process, the corporate construct, they're still trapped in the three-dimensional world. They have not risen yet to realize that world didn't create them. They created it.
Right.
So they're a slave to what they created still. They haven't learned that, look, if these things don't, and this is our lesson, this is just my feeling personally, we need to learn that this is all about us learning to manifest our world as we choose it to be, because that's what we're doing, whether we are aware of it or not. We create exactly what we encounter, because, look, the Quran says a soldier never knows his strength without a foe, right?
Yep.
So when challenges come to us, it can only be to wake us up to the fact that, hey, you created this. Now create what you want. You don't blame it. Don't get angry at it, because that's like getting angry at yourself. You created it. How are you going to get angry at it?
Well, let me ask you this, and going back to the topic. Well, we're still on the topic, but because when we talk about courtship and we talk about relationships, when we talk about going into the social portion, which is reflected on astrology, we're talking about partnering with whomever you associate with. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a mate that you are marrying or mixing your blood with, but it could just be which is what the seventh house represents in terms of relationships, because there's 3 relationship houses, and they're all air, and that's the Gemini, which is the initial sibling or relations, and how to communicate or lack thereof from a small age. That's a communication sign. And then you have the Libra, which crosses into the 7th house, social house, which is really concerned about who you mix your blood with. That would be mating. And then the 3rd is Aquarius, which is the air sign. That's a relationship sign concerned about all of humanity, the whole social world. But just because you cross into the social and into the partnership house of Libra, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a sexual partnership. even though the concerns there would be when you are concerned about who you're going to mix your blood with, it would rest in that house, which, of course, since the science is always correct, whatever's in that seventh house is always going to be the opposite of what's in your first house, and it's going to be your opposite sign. It's going to be the opposite, or it's going to be the opposite of your rising. However you rise on the first house is going to be in your seventh house, whatever's there. But aside from those partnerships of mating or mixing blood to continue with the family line, you would do other partnerships. They could be any kind of partnership. Now, what is the reason why? And you may have a hold on this, being in the field a little bit, in that line of business, so to speak. What would cause a person, once they did get to associate, to continue in a relationship? Like, no, in other words, I'm thinking, okay, there's some mental break going on. And that's not unusual to think because we're being mentally attacked. We're in a mental slavery. So to me, it's like I'm thinking someone is out of their mind or they're losing their mind or they're having some sort of break, a psychotic break or something as to why they are in a situation, but you could see that they seem to be helpless. Now, you always come and say, no, they know what they're doing. They're either in have pity on me or they're in stress mode or, just not wanting to, back to not wanting to reflect and see themselves. I'm thinking, but they must be losing it. There must be so much pain or something. You know what I mean? Where how can you be in something and then not want to be in it and not figure out the next move to get out of it, but just stay in it. I'm trying to understand what is the psychology that will make someone stay like that, and then you feel that you want to help them, but you know you really can't because their Savior is always within, right? So what makes a person maintain and stay there and just get beat down? And I don't mean physically beat down, I mean mentally beat down. But it could be physical too, but what does that? I'm thinking they're losing their mind, they're coming out of their mind and having a break or something. Yeah.
No, that is forced to make change and resisting. One way or another, you're going to make the change.
Okay.
You're going to make the change. You're going to do it willingly or you're going to do it by force. But like the prophet said, we're hard-hearted people. We ain't never did nothing except by the point of a sword. And I'm not saying that to lessen the fact that this is some serious work. That's not what I'm saying. This is some serious work. And the challenge that we have as a people is that we don't like change. We don't like change. We will resist change. Look, I know people who was told, for example, hey, just change your diet a little bit and your life will be so much better. They couldn't even do that. And they're 6 feet under. We don't like change. But change is inevitable.
That's true.
Change is inevitable. You know what? Let me tell you what's crazy. We don't like change, but change is what's going on regardless of whether you like it or are aware of it. Change is going on. You can't stop it.
That too. Yeah. Go ahead.
But we think that, we because of the mental enslavement, we think that if we don't acknowledge it, we don't look at it, it's not happening.
Oh, all right.
It's not happening. I mean, I know you know people, and I know people on listening now. They know people that, I know this brother. He has a problem with feeling, and this is a problem with most people, specifically brothers. He doesn't want people to look at him as a punk.
Oh.
But in his efforts to not look like a punk, you know,
like
what he does doesn't necessarily demonstrate that he is a punk, but it certainly demonstrates that he is not aware of what he's doing. Now, to him, he might interpret that as being punk.
Right. Right. Modesty.
You know, it's like you go too far to the left, and you don't realize, man, you're dangling on the edge. Everybody can see you, and
right.
And
right.
just because people don't say nothing to you, don't mean that, you know, your drawers are showing.
Right. Yeah, and that goes along with the others seeing more clearly. Others seeing more plainly. When I had to get that straight. When you do not see yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. And then sometimes you got people who will tell you, "Oh man, man, I see your drawers. You need to pull up your pants or something. Pull your dress down. Pull your pants up. Something." And then they get mad at you because you're trying to pull their coattail. I have had that experience. They get mad at you because you're trying to pull their coattail. Hey man, your drawers hanging out there. You might want to rearrange your clothes. They get mad at you.
Right. So then the answer to the question I'm having is to what makes a person have enough sense to say, I'm not happy, this isn't happening right, but not make any moves whatsoever towards wanting
to change.
They just
ain't ready.
They're not ready yet.
Not ready. They just not ready. And you know what? And this is what's hard for people. You go through this with your children. You know that there's certain lessons your child is going to have to learn. And every mother knows that if you stop your child from learning certain lessons while they're young, they're going to catch it later when they get older.
Yes.
And it's hard for a mother in any capacity to step away and watch her children catch hell. It don't matter if you're her biological child. It don't matter if you're an adopted child. It don't matter if you are the son of another mother or another sister. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because all mothers have a problem watching the children. Because, see, all females are mothers, and to each other they're sisters, and all males are sons. To each other son, they're brothers. But to a female, you're a mother. You're a son, and she's a mother, whether she gave birth to you or not. And most mothers are protective of their children, all children. That's why I know when I was growing up, my mother looked out for me and other people's children. When my children were growing up, I looked out for my children and other people's children. And that's how it is. That's why all females are mothers.
So what happened back in a few generations ago, I guess, when the families, I know what happened. We're talking about it. It's called reflection. When they were mad at you, if you came to them and said, listen, your child, I caught your child doing whatever like that, like we used to do, the community raised a family, and then the mother would get mad and want to fight you and stuff, and then that attitude, that mental thought processes got passed down through the next generation to the next generation. And that's why it's hard for us to have that family unity and love for each other, because we brought in, or we felt that we were being judged. And the truth is, it was the modern European corporate structure shit. that brought in this being judged stuff, and we took that out on each other. But that's just another method of how they interjected their program into our family structure to destroy it. Because now you can't even go and talk to them there, but get pregnant.
Well, that's true, and that's new. That's new because I'm going to tell you, when I was growing up.
It is.
I was growing up, look, you had many mothers, and sometimes you didn't know who the mother was going to be until she laid into you.
Mhm. Right.
And I can tell you from my own experience as a mother, I can see how my mother appreciated that because my mother, if my mother got a report about any of us when she came home, she also got a report if somebody else handled it.
Exactly. But that's
which meant she didn't have to, unless it was really severe.
Yeah.
Then you got a second dose.
Yeah. And that's all iffy now because all of us, we act like we lost our minds. So now you're like, well, don't you say nothing to my child. And it's almost understandable. But what we have to realize what has been interjected to all of that to destroy the family unity and love that binds us all. And that's what has happened.
That's right.
It's just that simple. Because we can sit here and talk about, how it used to be and we can talk about how it used to be on some things, but there are some fundamental principle things that principles don't change. And when you stray away from those principles, that's when you have what we have now. And that applies the same with, being who we are and identification and the whole family of the principles of nationality, which means family. That's what it is. That's just what it is. And if you don't get those principles right, because there's a lot of people on all types of social medias and on YouTube and on Facebook, and they're saying things that are absolutely in grave error for people who are actually looking to come under the Moorish nation and their family, and to be who we actually are. I mean, it's just crazy. They take all the fundamental principles. Like, okay, let me give this example too. This is a great one. First, I want to give props to Brother MHHS, because he did a YouTube demonstration on the nationality card, the allodial nationality card, which was excellent. But then some other brother did a demonstration. Well, you never saw his face. He never said who he was. It's very short, and it was, I don't know if that came first, second, or last. It doesn't matter. And someone sent it to me, and they were like, and the guy was saying, yeah, if you don't have this identification, does yours come up with this information? It's a barcode. Did you hear what I said? A barcode on a national identification card. Now, what does barcode mean, Anna?
A barcode is a commercial tracking number. What it usually, I worked in a grocery store, so I can tell you, because barcoding is fairly new. And what the barcode did was, it was a way, listen to what I'm saying now, it was a way to track inventory. So if you have a barcode on a national identification card, that's 1,000% out of order, because you're a national, you're a flesh and blood being. And if you're a national, okay, that means that you're not a part of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a part, and that's why, a lot of our family members that come to this portion of the land, they're untouchable. They're untouchable because they understand being a national, and they understand nationality, and they know that these modern Europeans, can't touch them. Our challenge is that we are all, we're trying to interact with modern Europeans all the time.
Yes.
All the time. In every way. It's like we don't want to be their friends. This is the activity is like we don't want to be their friends, but we want to be their friends.
Well, because we think they're authority. So for instance, okay, so the barcode by all means the product. So now they took this beautiful allodial information, put it on a card, put a barcode on it, which immediately voided out all the great stuff, right?
Yeah.
The back of the card had U.S.national, which was a secondary, I don't know which is worse, voided out all the great information. Right? A U.S.national and all of this beautiful jargon that is proper has now been put in a barcode under a U.S.national, which means
it negates it. It negates it, really, is what it does. It negates it.
Well, it negates it. Yeah, exactly. So here's the example.
It cancels it out. It's like math. If you have the equation is the same on both ends, it cancels out. Well, sort of, kind of like
right.
Math. It cancels out.
So all this great information, and then now, what was the purpose of the barcode? First of all, barcodes mean product. So you're traveling with this card that you're saying your product. Your product. I don't care what it says. That's what you're saying. And then the local municipalities, private policy enforcers, security guards for the rolling venue municipalities across the nation have the ability to scan it with the gun, and it comes, the scan gun for the barcode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up with all your information.
That's right.
That they already know that you're under their jurisdiction.
That's right. Now, years ago, that would have been called, and they tried to, and they have said this. They have demonstrated this in movies. They would call that the mark of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
And they have sort of demonstrated that in movies. If there's some sort of a number associated with you or attached to you or tattooed on you, that would be considered the mark of the beast.
Mm-hmm. So
and that's why like the Amish people, they don't have like SSNs or driver's instruments for various reasons. And if they do have any type of a driving instrument, it doesn't have a picture of them on it. But our people, we can do the same demonstrations because a picture is not you either. It is an image likeness, but it is not you. So and a lot of religions they forbid that falls under idolatry, because it could be classified as some sort of an image, and you're not supposed to in any way, shape, or form engage in any worshiping of image. It doesn't matter if you're not engaging in it. The fact that you got it is looked at as worshiping a graven an engraved image, even though that image is of you. And when you look at the science of it, in total, it makes absolute sense.
Okay, all right. So it does. So again, this is the example of national principles being thrown into a commercial venue. So if you don't have the principles, the true principles of nationality, then you cannot, anything you do from there forward will be negated, voided, etc. And this particular nationality card that this guy was demonstrating, and then it was like, yeah, does your card do this? You know, like it was proud of, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Like the card is walking by itself.
Well, yeah, and I'm like, wow, whoever did this, do they realize what they've done? You know, no, obviously not. That all of that is negated. So we study, we share this great information, we give it away. Say this is what this means, this is what that means, and then some Moor or group of Moors takes it and throws it right back into a commercial venue, and then wonder why they're still messing with you, because you just took what you said you were by declaration, proclamation, and threw it back at us under our jurisdiction, and you're too uneducated, unstudied to know that that is what you have just done, so thank you very much. You know what I mean? We're going to still mess with those because I know we can put our net out there. We're going to get some who do not understand what they just did. We got them.
Exactly.
If they knew, right, they wouldn't do it. And so I say that to say, and these are kind of things that are also being shared on these other social medias, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and they're absolutely horrifyingly out of order and putting people right back. And this is what was said. Watch it. Some of your own wearing turbans and feathers, whether they're wearing turbans and feathers or not, will put you back into slavery. You see what I'm saying? So that would be an example, because when they shoot that, when you put that product barcode on that card, that is a lodio, nothing before it, after, or whatever, and it means it's a product that you're saying you're a product, and all the information on there is a product, and it is absolutely apples with oranges. This is the example of what we mean when people do not have the principles, the foundational principles, and every time they do get it, they throw it back into a commercial venue. Why? Because they don't realize that which they thought was government is really not. That government is
right. And you know what? Here's something here's a little exercise for people to do. I know that you can find this information usually on what they call plant-based vitamins. Now it tells you on the barcode, by scanning the barcode, it can tell you where the plant in that product grew, when it was harvested, how long it sat in a certain place, when it was shipped, and where it was shipped to. All that is cargo information. So if you have a barcode on any so-called national identification card, that national identification card is demonstrating where you was picked from, because they associate people based on corporate geographical location, not birth, bloodline, which is a form of denationalization. So that's you're demonstrating that you're absolutely cargo if there's a barcode on anything that you have.
That's right.
So, but you know what? It's after 3:00, so I don't know if you want to take a few phone calls or if you want to just play the closeout music and call it a day, or what.
Well, there may be a couple of phone calls. In fact, Sister, after she fell out and she wanted to come in, and she may have something to offer here. So if you want to take maybe a couple of calls, maybe we'll go. We should open up for a few.
All right. Well, we can take a few phone calls.
Do you have that control?
Nope, I do not.
Oh, well, let's see, because did you get the chat room open? Because
I didn't.
Yeah, well, I just saw that, but then when I hit chat, I wasn't sure which one. Chat is co-host, open moderator chat, new window, or launch chat.
Not moderator, definitely not moderator. That opens a whole different window.
Yeah, well, I tried to launch the chat, and it said something's wrong with the flag.
You probably have to
Yeah.
allow it. You have to allow it, and then refresh your browser, and it'll open. But the chat room would be closed now anyway, so it's all right.
All right. So then that's the way that is right now. Yeah. I do have one person that's up, and then I'm going to bring in the sister Gianna because she dropped out. If she's not back there, and I'm sure she will stop the comment. But let me get this person here first. But the screen is really let me refresh because it's got numbers instead of. It could be my computer here. I'm not really sure at this point. Let's see if I can open up this person who is 623-907. Hold on a moment. Let me see if I can get this open. Hold on. Don't speak yet. Okay. All right, 623-907. You are live on the air.
Islam. Sister Roz, this is Teresa L. Islam saying Teresa L.
Hey, Sister Teresa L. What's up?
Yes. I was just calling real quick to comment because I truly understand when Annie E. was talking about when she mentioned her parents had been married for 60 years. I can definitely relate to that because, I've been almost married for 40 years. And during that time, my husband and I both felt the importance of having the most influence in raising our children, being, in every, in all their daily life, whether it's before, after school, weekends, we just felt, important, so I really, left my job, opened up a family child care home in care center, where I had my family, all my children in my family and all the neighborhood children. And throughout the 25 years that I had that child care, the in-home child care, it was hundreds of children that came through. And, what I really tried to focus on most with the children was just self-worth, respect, self-awareness, because I felt that was important because I noticed that a lot of them weren't getting that. And, that was just important to me. I would teach them, reading and math skills. Really, I was just reinforcing what they already possessed, and just with their everyday and interacting with them, like counting, going up the steps, or reading their names in their lunch boxes and stuff like that. Or, I would definitely greet each child each day, with a smile and with a cheerful attitude and a hug, and told them that they were loved and made sure that they felt that, because I felt that was important. And, just complimenting them on something, whether it be their hair, whether they got a new cut, a new hairdo, or, their outfit or something, just to give them that personal, good feeling within. And, now that I'm help raising my grandchildren, I'm able to teach a little bit more because it's on another level, because it's all about nationality and it's all about our birthrights. And, we definitely teach the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice every day to our children, our grandchildren. We study together as a family. We're on these calls, Sister Stand on the Law, your Tuesday shows, Sons of Allah. We have our own family weekday calls. All that's important. We read together. We study law together. And, I'm just grateful that, 6 out of my 8 children, have proclaimed and declared their nationality. I'm trusting that the other 2 will come home soon. I don't love them no less, but we're continuing to study as a family, and maybe they'll catch up. But I just wanted to call in, tell you it was a great show. You, Annie E, and you, Roz, you guys, your work is so greatly appreciated. I love you guys, and I'm going to yield the floor. Islam.
All right, Islam.
Thank you. Give peace to the family.
Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There you go. And we have Sister Jayana. Are you with us? Must have dropped out again.
Uh-oh.
Sister Jayana, are you there?
Please, I'm here.
All right. Did you?
I have my phone. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I didn't want to say anything, so, yeah.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
She dropped out. She's just listening right now, but I got her in. Let me see if there is. All right, I got another. Oh, I got to unlock this one. Hold on. I got one more caller. Oh, no, I got a couple callers with a question here. So we have 215-939. You're live on the air.
Islam family, Camille Ali Bey, Northwest Mexham, Philadelphia territory. The son of Asim Ali Bey and the son of Trust the that's on the call, and the father of
You're
Justice.
one of the staff. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Islam.
Islam.
Just wanted to say I appreciated the call today. Also, wanted to ask Anna if you got my email about my son, Justice Bey, his birth record. Wanted to see if you
I don't. I think I. You know what? I think I got something. But I think I got something, and I might have printed it to call you, but got so overwhelmed and put it aside. So I'll have to call you afterwards, or possibly even tomorrow. Let me not promise today.
No, I'll probably see Mother Rise at the York House class on Saturday, so I could be in touch with you then. But again,
yes, I got something to mail you. I got something going out to the mail for you tomorrow in tomorrow's mail. So
okay,
the circle, the pocket, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I got it for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But again, I appreciate this show, and my mother that was just on, I appreciate everything she did. She, helped bring us to the light, and she raised me the right way, raising my son the same exact way she raised me. And that's love for peace.
And don't forget about Father Asim.
Absolutely, never forget about that. My hero right there. So I never forget about him.
Are you the same? Are you the same son once that went to some place with the ID card? I don't want to put you on the spot. And they tried to tell you couldn't get in the place, and then they called the cops, and the cops came and said, "I'm sorry, but this ID is fine. You can't deny him." Are you that? You that same son? Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
A few years ago, I went out. A few of my friends were all meeting up at a local little lounge, little food lounge, and we went there. But you had to be 21 to get in. So I, provided my identification card, and the person at the front was like, "No, I don't know what this is." I told them it's my nationality identification card. They continued to call their supervisor. The supervisor called the owner. They tried to make a big scene, but I refused to leave because I stood on, this is who I am. I know who I am. So they'll call the police. So I sat there and waited for them to call the cops. The cops came. They showed them, and the cops said, "Okay, so what's the issue?" They said, "Well, this is not a valid card." "Oh, this is a valid card. It says who he is. His birth date is on there, and it has his picture on there, and it says his nationality card." And they said, "Oh, well, we're sorry. Can we buy you a drink or anything?" And I
remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That happened 2012. 2013.
All right. That's when we first started kind of putting them out on a wider basis. So yeah, see that? Yep.
Peace and love.
Thank you. Peace and love to you and your family.
Wow.
Hey, you got to send me a picture of that I took with the baby too. I
printed them out with you and Taj with Justice. I printed them out for you guys to have a copy of them. We loved it, and I sent it to my father. And he went crazy about it. He told me to blow the pictures up.
I know. He came on the show and told us. He said, "Oh, the pictures are beautiful," and I'm like, "Oh, I need to have one." So,
I'll say how much around.
And then Annie, I'm sure we'll work on that birth record for you and get back to you on that too.
Okay, definitely. I do plan on going to visit, my father in the Arizona territory real soon, so I didn't want any mix-up or any mishaps or anything,
Okay. All right. No problem. Because there's no problem flying with the all done that. Now, go ahead, Annie. I'm sorry. I said, yeah, because we know there's no problem if you were flying with them because we've all done that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Your dad's done that too. All right. Nice to hear from you. Good to hear from you. We'll be talking with you. Thank you for enforcing Mama. All right. Islam. And I have one more caller, I think. Let me just check. From the 719-964. You're live on the air.
Greetings. This is Brother Bukhari from Northwest America.
How are you today? Are you better?
Got a little bass in your voice.
Don't make me laugh.
Laughter is good. It'll help you heal quicker.
Yes, laughing. It'll get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling a little better, and I'm getting there. I just wanted to. I'm not going to draw a long bow. I just wanted to call in and tell you how wonderful the show was, and you've breached so many relevant topics as it pertains to family and community, our culture and religion, and I just all on board with it, and I just had to say, awesome, thank you so much, and I yield the floor.
Thank you. And you have a package coming to you. You got my email. I got your return, so tomorrow you should have it.
All right. Yes, thank you very, very much. And I wanted to say I appreciate all of the love and concern from you guys, and also from Brother Misraim on Thursday night. And I also wanted to say much love to young mother Diana for her concern as well. Islam.
Right.
Islam.
She's on the line.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Did you use the remedy?
Oh gosh, I've already started. I don't have all of the things yet because I'm not very mobile, but I've already started doing some things, and some folks have already sent me some, like Anna E. and Mother Roz, so I'm just waiting on that stuff to, get here. I do have some stuff that I acquired locally that I've already started taking, so just putting it all together. I'll probably have, everything going in the next couple of days. Yeah, so thanks again.
Remember that viruses, they're dormant. They never leave you. They said when your body gets weak, that's when they come back. And vitamin C is one of the, I almost want to say the only thing to fight it, but oregano fights bacteria and vitamin C. Because I just came out of a situation myself. But then I found that there's all kinds of natural things that, like elderberry tea, a cup of that has 600 milligrams. Yeah, so, but when you're in a condition, you want to build it up quickly, and then you could just take 2 cups of elderberry tea daily, and that'll keep the vitamin C levels up because we urinate them out every time we go to the bathroom.
Right, right.
And orange only has 50 milligrams. it's not that that's bad. It's just that when the vitamin C is low, you got to get it back up. Or orange only has 50, and the body's supposed to have 6,000 in you at all times. So you can imagine, But once it's up, then you would do the daily intakes of oranges and or of elderberry tea, which is extremely high in vitamin C.
Also, cayenne pepper, believe it or not, is high in vitamin C as well.
Yes,
cayenne pepper, the smaller the pepper, the spicier the pepper, the more vitamin C it has.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get that cayenne pepper.
That's why our family down there near the Mexico Corporation, they don't have the same challenges as we do because they eat pepper daily like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yep. That's another part of the infiltration of the family structure is the food that we eat. And there's all disposable stuff and temporary stuff, And
it was really strange the way that I got sick is because of my son. He's been like him and my mother, we're not on the same page. And so for the past 2 months, whenever I visit, he's always sick. He's always got green phlegm running out of his nose, always coughing. She's doing the vaccinations and all that, and so my system is very clean. Like I'm going on 5.5 years being a vegetarian, and I don't eat certain things, and so it was just terrible. And so just after spending one day with him, I was sick. And it's been about a week. It's been a little over a week, and I'm still hurting.
Let me just tell you, because see, a lot of people think that you're catching this from somebody who has a cold. That's not what's happening. All right, that's not what's happening. What's happening is if somebody has a cold and your immune system or your body immune system is low or is probably just worn out. Because we don't, one of the reasons that we used to fast frequently, especially coming out of the winter, was to get our immune system in order. We don't do, and it gave our bodies a chance to, because when you fast, what the body does is once you're drinking just plain water, after the third day, actually after the first 24 hours, the body goes into, there's no food coming. Let me go throughout the body and consume whatever is here lying about, basically. And so we as people, because our diet is not the greatest and we don't fast, there's a lot lying about. And so what the body will do, our bodies are amazing. They are self-repairing, self-generating. What our bodies will do is it will go and it will get rid of and consume all things within the body that is not productive. So that means if you got dead tissue hanging around of your own or another species, it's going to get rid of that. If you have abnormal growth, it's going to get rid of that, because anything abnormal, the body is going to go through and cleanse itself up. We get colds because we don't really, and sometimes the colds get blown way out of proportion because we never give our bodies a chance to cleanse. And we're just so brilliant, right? When the body goes into cleanse mode, we go and we take so-called cold medicine to stop the body from getting rid of the excess mucus, which is a result of, the body trying to protect itself. We think we're brilliant because we can stop the coughing and we can stop our nose from running, or we can stop the diarrhea. All of these things is the body getting rid of pollutants that are inside of the body. But, and being around somebody who is sick, if your body is just flat out nowhere else to push foods and stuff that the body has constantly trying to get rid of, if there's just nowhere else to push it, your body is going to trigger a cleansing. That's what's happening. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. We do bad things in stopping the cleansing, so we get overloaded with pollutants that then sit in our liver, in the pancreas, in the lungs. Anywhere there is a crevice to push stuff, the body's going to push it there until it gets a chance to cleanse it out. So fasting, right about now, we getting ready to come into spring. We need to spring into action and start the cleanse. Do it like a minimum 10-day fast, And if you're real ambitious, do a 30-day juice fast until you can do a 30-day water fast.
I think I'm going to have to do that 30-day because, I have been doing cleanses, like herbal cleanses for years now, and I think what really has caused me to succumb to this issue is a stress. I think that's what really did it. It's the stress dealing with certain situations on a personal level, trying to communicate lifestyle issues in reference to my son with his mother. And I think that has taken a toll upon me. And I got to tell you, I have lost some weight. And everything that you say, I know what you're saying is so on point because even though I feel very, very weak, I can see the cleanse, because one of the things that I didn't do is I don't take over the counter meds, unless it's a high pain issue, and I don't have any other alternative at the and because I have had several surgeries through my time in the military, and so pain is always there. But everything that you're saying, in terms of the fast, I've lost some weight in the past week because I've kept the food intake. Because actually, I didn't have much of an appetite, and I'm going to go and I'm going to roll into it. I'm going to roll right into that. Now you're saying juice, right? You say do like a 30-day juice fast.
Yeah. Well, because some people, they can't deal with a water fast because, you don't want to jump into something. But if you're I know people who have been diagnosed with pneumonia, and that's all they do was go home and not eat anything or drink anything unless their body calls for them to drink something. And if they did drink anything, it was like little sips of water. And the pneumonia was gone within 3 days. Now, what we don't understand is that pneumonia is excess mucus that has been pushed into the lungs. And the best way, and see what modern Europeans will tell you to do is, you got to take an antibiotic because, they are definitely afraid of bacteria and germs and even certain viruses because it'll wipe them out. But it's not going to do that with us, all right? What it does with us is it's normal for you to have certain germs and bacteria and viral whatever in the body. It's normal. They work with the body because those bacteria and germs, they eat and consume dead anything. So you're not going to have excess bacteria and germs if you don't have dead something inside of your body. It just does. They're there for a reason. They work in harmony with nature. But modern Europeans will put you on an antibiotic in a heartbeat. Now, what antibiotics do is they shut the body down. your body goes immediately into survival mode. Soon as you start taking something that is outside of nature, and all synthetic drugs is outside of nature. They do not work in harmony with the natural body. So they shut the body down immediately, and in some cases they can shut it down to the point where you will transition. That's how that's because it's just not for us. So what we can do to if you have pneumonia, just don't drink nothing. Just go on a dry fast for about 2-3 days. You'll be right as rain, and it'll be done in harmony with your body to the point where you're not going to have any side effects. About the only side effect you're going to have is you're going to feel better and want to eat now.
All right. And I just wanted to
side effect.
I wanted to add something.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, I wanted to add because I know a lot of people are not used to fasting or not even hearing about us fasting a lot. And myself, it's funny you guys are talking about fast. I'm on a 60-day fast, and I've been fasting at work. People was like, like, oh my God, I can't even imagine, and I just wanted to add this to people who never fast ever. Don't ever overdo anything with your body. Don't ever do anything to where you're hurting yourself. Like, don't even start off with a 10-day fast. Start off with a 3-day fast. You don't have to start off with not eating. You can do smoothies. I started off with smoothies because I couldn't even do just drink. I did something. So do a smoothie where you break the food down so it's more easier. The whole thing is that our digestive system just been working very, very, very hard, and the whole thing is we put so much food substance like hard, and a lot of us don't chew our food a lot. We don't really chew all of the food, just swallowing it. It's just really working a lot on our body and our digestive system, and so that's why I say at least go to smoothies if something's already broke down, where your body don't have to work as much, and then you graduate yourself as you go. You don't have to start off with just don't eat or just don't drink, or you start off with food. You don't have to even go. You can go one day, one full 24 hours and not eating. Just start somewhere, and then eventually, you start to get the hang of it, and you start to go and flow in harmony with your body, mind, and soul, whatever. Because you don't never want to go out of harmony where you're just doing stuff just to do it, and then you mess yourself up more than you hurting it.
Right.
Because that's not the object. The object is to cleanse yourself and to be in harmony with the universe. And being in harmony meaning doing things that's in harmony with yourself, because everybody is different. Everybody is at a different stage when it comes to what they've been eating throughout their whole life. Some people never ate meat. Some people always been vegetarian. Some people always. So your body is different from what you got inside. Everybody got different stuff they need to let it out. My advice is don't always think you got to go straight up. Oh, I need to do 10 days no eating, and then you all messed up. Like you could just do 24 hours, and then after you get graduated from there, you can do 3 days. And then after you graduated from there, then you continue to do that. With my 60 days, it's not even a full 60 days of not eating anything. It's a 24-hour not eating nothing. Then the next day, only eat a fruit or a vegetable raw. You know what I mean? That's what my 60-day is. And then the next day after that, 0. I eat nothing again. And then when I do eat, it's only something that's going to, be really, really good for my body. And that's what I'm doing with this. And this is my first time. I just made it up, really. Like, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I started with the lemonade diet.
That's in harmony with your body, though.
Right. And then I started with
And see what you're saying is that you have gotten in tune with your body. You got in tune with your body, and that's what everybody needs to do, because we're so out of tune with our body. We don't even hear, like for example, I mean, like when I remember there was a period where, I mean, I got so in tune with my body, I was eating bananas like crazy, and I don't even care for bananas. I was eating bananas. If I traveled past the grocery store, I was going in there and buying a bunch of bananas, you know. And then that phase went away, and then I was eating a bunch of avocados. Then I got into okra. I didn't like okra. I got into okra. I don't know where the craving came from, but what I learned is that okra has a lot of calcium. Who knew that? Bananas, of course, everybody knows bananas have potassium. I read somewhere that sesame seed milk has amazing amounts of calcium. More calcium and better calcium than cow's milk could ever wish it had. Cow's milk is nothing more than white pus blood poison, because number one, if you got raw milk, all right, it's still for the cow. Raw milk is for the cow. You're not a cow. It's not going to work for your body because cow's milk has an enormous amount of mucus for the cow, not for the human species. So when we drink cow's milk, we have all kinds of allergic reactions that we just get comfortable dealing with on a daily basis. But if we was to switch to sesame seed milk, which has a lot of calcium, you know, it would help us build up our calcium, our lack of calcium. But also, I read that if you're deficient in calcium, when you drink it, it's going to taste sweet. If your calcium levels are all right and you add sweetener to it, it's going to be too sweet. I can attest to that. Same thing with dandelion greens. Because dandelion greens is the food for the liver. The liver loves dandelion greens. If your liver needs serious repair, when you eat dandelion greens, it's going to taste sweet. Most people will tell you, oh, it's so bitter, I can't stand it. Well, that means that your liver is functioning pretty decently, possibly. Possibly. Yeah. But if you get in harmony with your body will tell you what to eat that you are deficient in. I went through a pineapple craze. I couldn't stop eating pineapple. Even when it tore my lip apart, I had to keep on eating it. I went through a watermelon craze. That's your body saying it's deficient in some area, eat this. Listen, if we was to listen to our bodies and eat what our bodies tell us to eat, we would be in a whole better place. And these modern Europeans, through their corporate operation, would not be able to profit off of us in every conceivable way. Because if you pay attention to this TV, if you really pay attention to the TV, they're giving you crap. This processed food is nothing more than crap. That crap is going to create a problem within your body. Then they advertise some sort of synthetic drug to deal with the negative effects of the crap that we ate. But within the so-called synthetic cure creates other problems. And if you really pay attention to this TV, it's trying to create you to be some sort of zombie revenue generator.
And all of those synthetic, right? And all of those synthetic drugs are all highly acidic. One of the things that I can speak on the portion about knowing your body, because normally I don't have mucus. I don't have, when I wake up in the morning, because I've kept my body so clean, being a vegetarian for so long, and I've even posted some videos on my channel on it. But so when I the very next day after I left his mother's house, I had all of this mucus, and he had all this green mucus coming out of his nose, which always gets me very upset because she feeds him this cow's milk on a daily basis. And when he was when he was like 2 years old, I used to make a porridge for him. And the porridge, I used almond milk, I used quinoa, and I used a natural oat from that I used to get from Whole Foods. I would add some cinnamon and put some raisin in it, and nuts and just various different things. And he just loved it. He would just tear it up, And I kept it. I didn't have it very sweet. It was just mildly sweet. And as a 2-year-old, I mean, he would devour it. And I just couldn't, comprehend, why she would want to go to other things. But at any rate, normally I don't have mucus. And so the very next day, I wake up and my chest is, congested, and every muscle in my body was sore. And I had this huge migraine. I knew I was in trouble. So I immediately left, and came back to my place and just started, drinking a lot of water, and that was it. And then, by 6 p.m. that day, I could not get out of bed. I was in too much pain, and I was bringing up all this mucus, and that's when I knew I was in for it. Because another thing that I do is another thing that's extremely important that I talk about all the time, and that is you have to purge. People need to really get stuff out of your colon. You really need to get stuff out of your intestine. That's why, even before this ailment, I don't have a gut, I don't have a protruding belly, and I'm 52, and all of my peers that are out here that I see from time to time that I socialize, every last one of them has this huge gut, that, it's just there, and it's just a lot of fecal matter, is basically what it is. And so thanks to the, purging, I think that the purging over the years has helped me a great deal. I think that my diet has helped a great deal, even though there's so much more that I need to learn. But which is why I'm so thankful, and I'm looking forward to trying. There's some, 3 things. There's 3 huge things that I want to try that was recommended by you guys, and I'm looking forward to implementing that. But again, I just wanted to. I've only said everything just to show that I've definitely improved as a result of fasting, because I do fast, and I do, and the benefits of for me, for being a vegetarian, based on where I was 5 years ago. I have pictures. That's why, when I look at somebody and they say that they're a vegetarian, I can look at their face and I can tell whether or not they're telling the truth or not. Because when you're a vegetarian and you don't eat a lot of animal products, even if you're just starting out, let's say you've been a vegetarian for 1 year, your face and your skin, your eyes, your hair, your nails are going to look different than a person who eats meat, particularly if you're eating pork. You can't hide it. That's why, a lot of people that I talk to, I just say, okay, all right, well, you have a nice day. I just let them go because I know that they're blowing smoke. And I can look at your face, I can look at your skin, and I can tell that you're not a vegetarian, because your face is you can't hide it. It's in your tissues. And that's why these people who get on Facebook or who you may run into or on YouTube and you look at them and you can look at their face and it's oh my, you're not a vegetarian, dude. You're not even close. But I don't argue, because it's like I heard one of you guys say earlier, they they don't want to listen, like they don't comprehend how serious this is, how very important diet is in terms of, like, when you turn over a new leaf and you say that you're getting into Moorish science, people that have absolutely no clue that this thing has so many different layers that all are dependent upon each other. Like, you can't say that you're going to get into Moorish science and then you're going to start, studying, and you're going to start reading, and and you're still eating chitlins and fat back and hog maws and bacon and eating cow's milk, and it's not going to work. It doesn't work that way. This is it's like reading books and stuff like Anna Eve was talking about earlier. So it's wonderful information, but just strictly on the diet tip, I mean, it is so important. Like, another thing that I'm really looking forward to it, that because I grew up drinking sea moss, and it was, and so I'm looking forward to getting back on that, because I've been drinking it on and off for years, and it's like I can't find a strain of it or a product or line of it.
I know. Listen, I added some for you that I had, and I know a sister, I'm going to give you the connection out of Pittsburgh. I think Miss did an expose on her, and she has she gets the Jamaican sea moss real fresh. So I'm going to connect you with that also, because when you mentioned that, you said I think you grew up on it. Did you grow up in the island?
Until I was 4.5. So I didn't, we didn't get vaccinated. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I can speak on a lot of things, because we didn't get any vaccines until we were migrated from the island, which I was 4.5, to the mainland. And then after that, I didn't get any vaccines until I went into the military.
Right. Okay. Well, you know what? Well, you're feeling better already. Jayana gave you a little cure, and a lot of people giving you love, and we thank you for stuff. So we're glad to hear from you, and that you on that incline or cleansing to, hey, look, you lost some weight. There you go. That was a good thing. But we're going to have to close out. We got less than 5 minutes to close out today. And I do want to say this. This Wednesday we have a doula, the fourth Wednesday for our next class, Moorish and History School, Wednesday at 7:30. And then on the first Wednesday of the month, we found RVBey, who is expert in, as well as many others, in the natural herbs and things of that sort, which he has a website. But so look for that conversation the first Wednesday of the month. We're excited about it. So he also has a website where he actually provides these things that he talks about. And I'm trying to think now. Oh, man, I forgot what the name of it is.
Well, that's all right. You can talk about it on next Wednesday.
We'll talk about it, next Wednesday. But that's going to be great. Right, because he has history with it and history with why we took whatever we took. So with that being said, thank you, Brother Bakari. I'm sure you'll be feeling better. Thank everyone for listening. Islam, peace and love to you. All right. I can't find that, but I feel like this. I'm going to play out. I'm going to play out Wake Up.